Hello everyone, I hope you're doing well and staying safe. For this video we'll be going through an unboxing of what I suspect is a 1-to-144 model kit of the Sword Shadow. And this doesn't appear to have an actual series it belongs to, but it was produced by Soul Vogue, and this kit was released in 2023, which is this current year. So prior to looking at the Sword Shadow, I did have a look at the Cannon Shadow, which was a more white and green looking style kit. But I thought, well, since I've got the Sword Shadow, time to have a quick look at that. So here we have the what I believe is the front of the box of the Sword Shadow. So a nice just stationary pose of the Sword Shadow, and then a nice dynamic posed image. Definitely very nice, and it's nice that it actually is the kit as opposed to CGI art. As for around the box, there will be a multitude of different versions of the kit. So we have the front and rear shot, and I will admit, looking at that, totally have vibes of the Sword Calamity Gundam, which one day I do hope they actually do properly release. But anyway, now I think that's the same image that we saw on the front. A few more, and it looks like the blades will potentially have some different configurations, which is nice. It's very cool. Some more poses. Suffice to say, if the kit can do all of this and do it well, it will actually be a very expressive kit. So definitely a nice array of different dynamic poses. Back of the box is pretty much just a rehash of the front. So now that we've had a look of the box and potentially some of the poses that this kit will be able to do, I'll open up the kit. Now I do remember there's a whole heap of plastic bags and runners. I'll spare everyone that. So in a few seconds we'll go straight to the manual. And with everything now out of the bags, here we have the front of the manual with a nice shot of the Sword Shadow. And then on the back we just have another shot of it from the rear. So already getting used to seeing those images. Parts list within the first few pages. So we do have a number of runners to look through. And there will be this tray of joint parts as well. And then in terms of the build, it's pretty much straight to the point. Just going through the build, it doesn't look overly complex. It does feel like it is on par with a Bandai high grade, but in terms of the way that the runners and the parts have been done, it does feel like it's taken a bit more of a jab out of the Kotobukiya side of things. But yeah, everything pretty much straightforward putting together. Pretty much just finishing off the weapons. There is a nice action base inclusion as well, and it actually does look, I didn't notice it in the Cannon Shadow, but it will be able to store some of the extra hand manipulators, which is always a blessing. So it's pretty much very self-sufficient. And then I suspect the last few steps will be pretty much how to nicely connect the base to the kit. So there you go, a very quick and simple manual, which is always nice to see. In terms of the runners, since there are no stickers, we do have some A runners. So starting off with the A1s, carbon copy of each other, both in white, and I suspect we've probably seen these two white runners before as well. We have a small A2 in red. Moving through to B, a small B1 runner in white. You'll probably see very quickly why I mentioned the whole Kotobukiya side of things, given the number of runners. We have two C runners in grey, which are both carbon copies, or carbon copy of each other, and this will most undoubtedly be for joints. And the Cannon Shadow had those two runners as well. We have a C1 in which I suspect is a dark blue, although the camera might be suggesting it's black. but it does visually look like dark blue. So probably feet, I believe. I'll do them together, even though they are separate runners. E runner and F runner, both in grey. We have 2 H runners, H in that dark blue again, and an H3 in red. And before I put this one away, just a quick look at some of the detailing that is on the plastic. So it's not heavily detailed, but panel lining should definitely be straightforward and easy. Moving into the H's, we have, not H's, I's, sorry. We have 2 I1s, functional copy, in grey. Looking at what they are, definitely moving into the weapon side of things. So we have 2 of those. We also have a I2 in red. Actually, it does feel, going through the runners, either I'm getting used to them or it feels like there's less than the sword cannon. 2 J1s, both in white, carbon copy of each other. We have 2 P1s, both in red. Once again, carbon copy. This is definitely for the close combat weapons, especially looking at these for the, no doubt, the main part of the swords. So we have 2 of those. We have a nice translucent green runner in P2, which is that translucent green. So we'll get some of those blade effects in there, which is very nice. And then to finish off things, we have the X runner in black, which will have the components for the action base. A Y runner in grey for the hand manipulators. So X and Y seem to be universal. And then we have the tray of these additional joint components, base of the feet and things like that. So like the cannon shadow, seem to be a bit of universal components. So that brings us to the end of the unboxing of the 1-144 Sword Shadow. So it feels like there's a little less plastic than what we saw in the Cannon Shadow, but that's okay. I think there probably will be a little less, at least in the way of the weapon systems, but it does look like a very interesting and enjoyable build, and definitely looking forward to see how this goes, especially if it's going to be a non-Bandai version of the Sword Calamity. Now I did forget to mention this, and I'll mention it again in a few seconds. I did get this from Hobbylink Japan, like I did the Cannon Shadow, so I'll have a link to this kit over there if you want to have a quick look. Now I did have a quick look at the product link, and at the moment it is showing, as of this video, as out of stock, so take that as you will. Thank you very much for watching this unboxing video. Feel free to leave a like, a comment, subscribe if you enjoyed the content. All of this does help support the channel, and I do greatly appreciate it. Extra content can also be found on my Instagram account. Link to that's in the description below. And as I mentioned, there will be a link to this product over at Hobbylink Japan. With that being all said and done, stay safe and take care, and I will catch you all in a future video. See ya.